Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Mark Daniels Marksmanspiration. I'm not sure how to say it. Passport bros. More men are talking about it. This one, do passport bros have game? Do we even need game? Game is just tricking women. So please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
Passport bros. Red pill. Game. Do you have game?
It doesn't it suck that red pill is kind of synonymous with like pickup artistry and game? Kind of sucks.
Do you think because someone goes out of the country, someone who's called a passport bro, to find women doesn't have game? I know some people claim that, well, if they had game, they wouldn't have to leave the States. There's women here. Well, there may be some truth to that.
True.
But if I want to catch trout, I can't go to a local lake full of catfish and carp and bass and perch to catch trout.
I love it when gentlemen of older caliber kind of speak on these subjects, and it just sounds so much more intricate than if I was to do it. I love it when older gentlemen want to come on and speak on this subject because they've lived a long life to where they have the experiences that a lot of young people don't have.
And what we have in the U.S. is a lake full of bass, carp, perch, and catfish. You're not going to find trout here.
I want tuna.
Well, you may find one or two. But I live in an area in St. Louis where probably, well, what do they say? The average American woman, 20 years old, weighs 170.4 pounds.
What? I didn't know that. An average 21-year-old female is 170? That's more than me. And the average women are shorter than us. Holy shit.
That's the latest stats. And that's great. If you like big women, then you're in heaven here. But if you like thin, muscular, or in-shape women who have taken care of themselves past the age of 20, it's pretty slim pickings here in the U.S. And if you want a woman here that wants to take care of her man, that respects a man, that doesn't think she is the same as a man, that doesn't think she can dominate a man in all ways, you're not going to find a lot of those type of women here in the U.S. Now,
are you even going to find that type of woman in the U.S.? This is the funny stuff that, all of these gurus and all these people want to talk shit about passport bros. We've always talked about how women are here. How come when it comes to passport bros, all of that goes out the window? And it's like, oh, you still have to work hard and, give all these women whatever you want so you can get whatever you want here. But we've always talked about we don't get the reciprocation. Why would we bother to keep doing that here?
back in the 70s and 80s, it was a common thing to find a woman like that. Some people would say, well, you want somebody you can control, someone who will submit to you. Well, I don't know about that, but I would like to have someone who cooperates with me, who doesn't try to overpower me, who doesn't think that she can beat me up.
And also like manipulate you into doing things. A lot of women use that very modern manipulation tactics of how they make men do things without telling men to do things. But it is a very common thing nowadays.
Just because the law has given her certain rights that allow her to hit men, to push men around, and if he tries to protect himself, he is in trouble because they consider him abusive.
That's
true. That's a whole nother video. I won't even go there. But it wasn't like that when I was younger, and it isn't like that in other parts of the world.
Ooh, you guys hear that? It wasn't like that when he was younger, but it's still not like that in other parts of the world. So we can still find a traditional lifestyle of the 50s and 40s in other countries.
There are other parts of the world where women still take care of themselves very well after 20 years old. They're not all overweight or obese, and they want to be more conservative. They're not as promiscuous as American women. Now, do you have to have a game in these places? Well, everybody has a game, Some people just have poor game. Obviously, you have to be a man. And the best game you can have is to be a man.
Ooh,
A man who can
he's right.
protect himself, provide for a woman if he gets one, who's well grounded spiritually, mentally, and physically, who
Mm-hmm.
has taken care of himself, who is not needy. Someone who
This
is with a woman, who wants to be with a beautiful woman.
this is actually my first time seeing this gentleman's content. I just saw a passport, bro, so I thought I was gonna do it, and I'm really enjoying his thought process of how he's very red pill, but I don't think he's actually a red pill content creator.
Because it's a desire, not a need.
Yes.
Really, the best game you can have is to be a strong, independent man who desires to be with women, but is not like a woman, not like a woman, who's
Mm-hmm.
more into his masculine than his feminine. What we have here in the States is a lot of women, not all, are very much into their masculine because of the push of feminism during the 60s, 70s, 80s, and on. Not so much because of, it's more of the radical side, I guess, that's gotten it this way. But you have girls growing up thinking that they're the same as men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not.
They're
Now,
not.
does that mean they're less than men? Of course not. We all have, men and women have different characteristics and traits that are biologically programmed within us, if you like, that make us different. We each are good at different things. Some of us are better at some things. For example, how many men daycares do you see? How many daycares are operated by men only? You don't see that, do you?
That reminds me of the movie Daddy Daycare with Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that shit ain't gonna slide in the nowadays.
You don't see very many men working in daycare. Why is that? Because women are much better at nurturing and caring for children. Now, does that make men less than women? No.
No.
And the reverse of that, do you see many women being painting contractors, carrying heavy ladders, iron workers, climbing buildings, doing concrete work, working in the sewers? No, because men are more biologically designed for that by our Creator, by God, if you like. So it doesn't make one greater than the other or one lesser than the other. But it seems we've got that idea here in the US, or at least it's been pushed on men and women. I had a guy one time, we were discussing this on some social media platform, and he said, men and women are equal. They can do the same things. A woman can do the same thing as a man if you give her enough time. And I didn't argue any more past that point, but that statement in itself contradicts itself.
Yes.
If given enough time, well, if she were the same as a man, she wouldn't need extra time.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the services, the Army, the Marines, Navy, whatever, they've lowered the bar for women because they cannot do the same things men can do physically. And as I said earlier, does that make them less than? No. What it does make them is different than. So, back to my original point here, if you want to find women who are more like women and realize they are women and that men are men, you're not going to find an overabundance of that here in the US. You need to go to a different country, such as South America, Romania, Colombia, Latin America, different places there. I think it's Eastern Europe. I have a friend in Romania now, and he's telling me about there's just women everywhere. I mean, women in their 30s that are really in good shape, still taking care of themselves. And he happens to be dating one today that she has a kid. And that is like bottom of the barrel there. Now, he doesn't mean that derogatorily. What he means is that woman can't hardly find anybody to go out with her because there's so many other options for men that they don't want to take on a woman with a child. And he sent me a photo of her.
Damn, you hear that? The way he explained bottom of the barrel. And yes, a lot of women would take offense to that, thinking that they're undesirable. But they're not. It's just that there's so many good women out there. Why would we want to date single mothers? In the US, that's actually the major demographic is single mothers. In other countries, it's fit, feminine, single women.
Very attractive woman, probably in her early 30s. That woman over here would have her DMs filled up and guys just waiting to take her out
That's true.
because we don't have the options here. And back to the trout and catfish lake. We live in a place where you can't find trout, but in other countries, they're full of trout or beautiful women. As we're here, it's just the Americans don't,
Catfishes.
how do I say, they've just allowed them to let themselves go physically. And along with that, there's a mentality, a spiritual mentality, if you like, emotional, to where they just kind of let themselves go. It's
This is true. I didn't even think about the spiritual part, like, because I'm not religious in, the Christian or anything sense, but I'm Buddhist and I've always been Buddhist because my parents are Buddhists, and I follow the teachings and I go to the temples and stuff. I think it's actually nice to be with someone that believes in these things and believes in a higher power. There's so many atheists and so many people that just don't believe in a higher power. Those people I just don't seem to connect so well with because they don't seem to have the same things that ground them here.
Natural here are accepted that if a woman has a kid, that she gets overweight, that's part of the deal. It's not part of the deal, but it is part of the deal here where they let themselves go. And men do it
Mm-hmm.
too. Go take a look at yourself in the mirror. Would you want to date you? Have you taken care of yourself not only physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, psychologically? Would you want to be with you? I know some of you guys talk about wanting this
That's a little creepy to think about. Would I want to be with myself? I'm a pretty nice guy.
beautiful, caring, loving, kind, and physically shaped woman. But what are you? What's looking back at you in the mirror?
I like this. I like how he's putting it back on us too. Men out there. Yeah, there's going to be good women in these other countries, but you need to be on top of your game. You need to know what the fuck you're doing. You need to have direction. You need to be fucking physically well and healthy. Don't just expect these women to be all the things that you want, but you not be the things that they want too. Remember, it's a give and take.
Hey, and I'm the first one to admit I got a lot of work to do too. When I talk about the kind of woman that I like to date, I gotta ask myself, do I embody those characteristics?
Mm,
Now, of course, we're not going to embody everything a woman has. The nurturing capabilities, I am just not, that's not inherent within
hell
me.
no.
And I can see that as I've raised my kids for the last 12 years by myself without a woman involved
Ooh.
in their lives. There's things that a woman can do that I just have a hard time with. It's like,
Isn't it awesome? I love single fathers. Whenever single fathers speak and they say how hard things are, they always mention, you know what? There's things that I needed a woman for. Things I needed the mother for. We never, hardly ever hear it the other way. When a woman, it's like, oh, I'm strong and independent. I didn't need the man. I'm doing it all by myself. Oh, yeah, my son is great. He's doing wonderful. No, even this single father admits, I wish there was a mother or a woman in their lives. There's things I just didn't know what to do or how to handle things. Women seem to think they can do it all.
I want to call them to account, especially the boys. Where a woman might pick them up and give them a hug and say, "It's okay, honey." Not that I don't
Boo.
hug them because I do, but it's just different. Women are better at that than men are. So I can't be what a woman is, and a woman can't be what I am. But it
Mm-hmm.
seems they're taught here in the U.S. that they can be everything a man can be. And to me, that's just ludicrous. Now, there are exceptions, but they're rare. Just like with men, there are exceptional men that can be nurturing like a woman, but it's not the norm or the average or the masses, the majority, and that's what I'm talking about here. So, sure, if you go somewhere else to go out with women, you need to have some kind of game. But more than anything, you need to be yourself. But you need to
Mm.
be that self that a woman feels safe with. A woman does not feel safe with a man that if she would happen to leave him, they were in a relationship, that he would fall apart. Why would a woman like that want to have children with a man like that? If she knows that during childbirth she should pass away and her children would live on, that man is going to fall apart and not be able to take care of those children. Did you guys ever think of that when you're
Ooh.
telling your woman that you don't know if you could live without her? That she's
That's
the
a little spicy take. I like this. I like this spicy take.
best thing that ever happened to you. That's okay. But if she left you, you might delete yourself. No woman wants to hear that. That
Mm-hmm.
gives women the cringe. What you should say, and they may ask you this, I've had women ask me this, women I was married to and women I dated. What would you do if something happened to me? Well, I would be sad, but I would go on. Now, they're going to act like they're pissed off when you say that, but that's the answer they want to hear.
This is
What
true.
they don't want to hear is, God, I don't know, don't even talk about that. I don't know what I would do without you. I just don't know how I would make it. I mean, you're my everything. They don't want to hear that. So don't tell them that, even if you feel that way. Because you're a man, you're going to make it. You're going to tough it out. You're going to put her in the ground, and you're going to go on because that's what she wants you to be able to do.
This is why I love our elders. Our elders be dropping down wonderful facts, like truth bombs that a lot of us men need to hear, and some of us aren't even ready to understand yet either. I love it.
I want you to go on, raise those kids if you have a family, and be the man that you came here to be.
Damn
A
right.
man who can get through anything, who gets up off his butt when he gets knocked down and tries again and again and again.
Fucking grit, boys. Grit. That is the number one factor of success. Just keep trying. Fail your ass off and learn from your failures, but keep trying. Pull your fucking shorts up, your socks up, whatever the hell else you need to pull up, and get to it, guys. That's it. I think if most people just tried and just focused, they're okay. They don't have to be making millions of dollars. As long as you're doing some of those things, you're an attractive male to a lot of women.
Not some flimsy flim-flam man that's going to fall apart
Damn
every time
right.
a little storm comes along, or a big storm as far as that goes. You are the leader, so be that. And if you want to find a woman with traditional values, it can be done in the U.S., but it's more difficult. There are many, many women in the world, millions of women in the world, and there's one out there for you. But you got to get off your butt, and you got to be a man worthy of that woman. And that's the first question you need to ask yourself. Are you worthy of your desires?
Ooh.
Whether it be a woman, money, fame, lands, whatever. Are you worthy of those desires? And if
We talk about this with women, entitlement, and they deserve these things. For you to deserve something, you must have earned it. And you have to earn it in many different ways depending on what you want. But you have to earn it. You have to put in that work. We're not women. People aren't just going to give us stuff. We have to do the work ourselves.
not, make yourself worthy. Only you can do that. Think about
100%.
that. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching to the end. Take care.
Whew, that was some awesome chow. I feel a little invigorated by that. Shout outs to Mark, newer creator. He has like 1,000 subs, almost 2,000. Go into his channel, give him some views, give him some likes. This gentleman is speaking some facts. He's using his experience on this planet to help out other men, and he's doing it genuinely. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.